So why are property taxes a horrific atrocity and egregious human rights violation perpetrated upon our society? Well, buckle up, America. You're not gonna like, you're not gonna be happy with what I'm about to share with you. So first, imagine the government saying you could have worked a second job last year. And had you worked a second job, you would have earned $100,000. But we, the government, know that you did not work a second job and you did not earn $100,000 from it. However, we, the government, are going to pretend like you did and proceed to tax you on that $100,000 figure. That imaginary, fictional figure. What would your response be to that? How would you feel about that? The answer that I get to that question when I ask people face to face is pretty much the same answer across the board. That's bullshit. That ain't fair. That ain't right. What do you mean I'm going to be taxed on money that I never earned, that I never had, that I never made? Money that never existed in the first place. That ain't fair. That ain't right. And I look at people and I go, yeah, good point. That ain't fair. That ain't right. We're talking about property taxes. It's not a tax or taxation at all. It's literally theft and extortion. But how many times we're going to layer this to get worse and worse and worse is going to blow your mind. So there's the first layer. Oh, I forgot to explain it in the context of property taxes. The government simply saying you could have sold your home last year. And had you sold your home, you would have received, we'll say, $100,000. However, we, the government, know that you did not sell your home and you did not receive $100,000 from selling it. However, we, the government, are going to pretend like you did. And we're going to proceed to tax you on that figure. You see, assessed value is an imaginary, fictional figure. It's literally monopoly money. It is not real money. For tax or taxation, those terms refer to real money. Money that we really get, we really have, such as our income, money that we really received, money that we really had, really existed in our hands or in our pockets or in our bank account, and that we really spent, or we're taxed on it when we spend it. Think of sales tax as an example and many others. So tax or taxation is based on real money that you really had, right? Very simple concept. Property taxes, it's not based on real money. It's based on completely fictional, imaginary, non-existent monopoly money. There's the first layer of horrific. So let's move on to the next layer. It's simply a flat extortion, and any failure or inability to pay that flat extortion results in one of the homeless of the community. His name's Peter. Fairly nice kid. Oh, the community's is beginning to get very familiar with me, but that's a whole other topic, including government and law enforcement, etc., and know what I'm trying to accomplish by abolishing the horrific atrocity of property taxes. So where was I? Property taxes are simply theft and extortion. And any failure or inability to pay that extortion results in, here's the horrific atrocity part. Here's the egregious human rights part. We're almost there, folks. Just play the story out to the very end. What happens? You continue living in your home. What happens? Let me tell you, you're not going to like hearing this. Heavily armed thugs, calling themselves police, will violently break down your front door and at gunpoint drag you and your loved ones out of your home, hopefully not executing one of your family members in the process, because that's already happened more than once throughout our society. Police murdering people unnecessarily and unjustifiably in their own homes. But don't get me off track here. So, and then at gunpoint, did I mention at gunpoint, proceed to inform you and your loved ones that they are robbing you of your home, your clothes, your food, your everything, your medications, your this, your that, your everything. That is an egregious human rights violation. But let's delve into that briefly. What are the basic necessities of life to simply continue living? First, water. Water's first. So that should be a hint as to what number 2 is. Anybody got an idea what number 2 is? No, not going poop. That's funny though. So number 2 is food, right? water, then food. Can you guess what number 3 is? Come on, this ought to be pretty obvious by now. I've had 3-year-olds get it right. You got it right if you said our housing, our shelter, our home. Bingo, jackpot, winner, 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 chicken dinner for you. You got it. Okay, so here's the bottom line, America. There's no justifiable reason, say it with me, there is no justifiable reason in all of existence to rob or deprive any person of their home. Period. End of discussion, period. Done. And it sure as hell isn't justifiable to claim that simply a person being poor, broke, or financially struggling as to be unable to pay the financial, the flat extortion of property tax, that isn't even close to remotely close to justify. It angers me. It angers me that we as a society have continued to allow this atrocity for hundreds of years. I'm just getting started. That's layer number 2, right? Okay, let's keep going, folks. Let's keep going. Damn, this guy's good. Let's move on to layer number 3. Let's talk about our senior citizens, our elderly. Yeah. Guess what? Property taxes target and victimize our elderly, our senior citizens. Well, how can that be, Chris? Come on, you better explain. Come on, you better. Oh, I can explain that and prove that in very simple words. Again, 3-year-olds can comprehend this. Okay, Chris, showtime. better prove yourself. Okay, so younger, healthier folks such as myself or maybe you, we can theoretically go out and work to earn the money to be able to pay the extortion of property taxes. Whereas the elderly, guess what? The elderly have declined health as to result in the impossibility of being able to go out and work to earn the money to pay the extortion of property taxes. So that impossibility of being able to go out to work and earn the money translates to what? Come on, this ain't rocket science. That translates to the impossibility of being able to pay the extortion of property taxes. And what does that translate to? Oh, it brings us right to that horrific atrocity, layer number 2. Right, being the elderly being robbed at gunpoint of their homes. Are you effing kidding me, America? Oh, don't get me going, I'm just kidding. Damn, okay, we got 3 layers, this guy's good. Let's move on to, I think my ride's here. Let's move on to number 4. You're going to love this one, California, because this one is a doozy. This one's a doozy. So, our California State Constitution, the first one was in 1849. The second copy was in 1879. You're going to want to go Google this. Trust me, believe me, you're going to want to go Google this. So the smallest section of the Constitution, it's 3 lines of text, as I recall, 3 lines. That's a pretty small paragraph. It was 3 lines. I might be wrong, maybe it's 4, I don't know, but it's small. And it directly prohibits the forced sale of our homes. It calls it a homestead, which refers to our home that we reside in, that we live in black and white. Quote, forced sale. It prohibits the forced sale of our homes. Now, I want you to stop and think about what that means for a minute. And then I want you to stop and think about what is the consequences for a failure or inability to pay property taxes. What's the consequence? Literally being robbed at gunpoint of your home. The forced sale of your home. That's the consequence, right? The forced sale. And while we're on this topic, let's add another layer of egregiousness. Oh, it gets worse. It only gets worse and worse. 2 years ago, in 2023, the United States Supreme Court finally, those pieces of scum, that's right, I called them pieces of scum, because they've allowed this to continue for hundreds of years. So, don't get me going. That's a whole other subject. They call it home equity theft. You see, when the government robs Americans of their homes, yeah, our government has been doing that, robs Americans of their homes at gunpoint, it proceeds to then sell those homes. And it often sells them for far more than what is owed or due in back property taxes, including fees, penalties, fines, and interest. And that excess proceeds is literally a person's life savings. It is in the form of their home equity. Tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here in California, we're often in hundreds of thousands figure. Hundreds of thousands, often. So, and the government has claimed that it has a right, that it's okay in stealing that money. The excess proceeds, the difference between what was owed, the bill owed, the property tax bill, and what the government sold the home for. So finally in 2023, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled, that's unconstitutional, that's wrong, bad us, we're not going to do that anymore, we're going to stop doing that. And we're instead going to return that excess proceeds to its rightful owner, the homeowner. It should have abolished property taxes completely in the first place, but oh, don't get me going. There's a reason I called them pieces of scum. There's a reason. Where am I? Oh, how many layers am I at so far? I'm losing. I was at the Constitution, State Constitution, 1879, California State Constitution prohibits the forced sale of our homes that we live and reside in. Okay. Next, there's another section, much longer, much bigger paragraph. Take a moment to read through, but it talks about serving in the military. And any person who serves in the military, and it lists all the different branches at that point in time existing, and it goes on to very clearly state that they're exempt from property tax, from taxation, from that point forward. In the context of the home, it literally, from that point forward, exempts one home. And it goes on to list in detail your widow, if the service member died or dies or is dead, their widow or their parents or their cousin or their, great aunt or uncle. It literally goes in detail and lists. But the bottom line, what that translates to is, if a person served in the military under the 1879 edition of our state constitution, they were guaranteed one home, property tax free from that point forward, all of eternity, period, done. But the portion that literally prohibits the forced sale of our homes effectively prohibits property taxes in the first place. And my ride's here, so that's it for this video. But how am I doing so far, America? Is that enough reasons alone to demand that we abolish property taxes? Because it's my position that there's no justifiable reason in all of existence to rob or deprive any person of their home. Period. It's an egregious human rights violation. There is no discussing, it's just done. And it's not even a tax or taxation at all. It's literally a flat extortion. That's the foundation of it. Because it's not based on real money. My name is Christopher Youngblood. I am the guy that will be responsible for abolishing property taxes with your help and support. My phone number is 442-217-6498. Again, 442-217-6498. My email address is cyoungblood611@gmail.com. And I'm standing outside of the out-of-business Rite Aid in Fallbrook, California, in which will, hopefully with God's help and your help and support, soon be the initiative headquarters for the Axe Property Tax Initiative to abolish property taxes on the next upcoming general election ballot. cyoungblood611@gmail.com, and feel free to call, text, or email me if you would like more information or would like to help contribute. And I hope in the next 2 weeks to be transforming this massive 13,000 square foot building behind me, previously a Rite Aid retail store, into a large office building in which will be the initiative campaign headquarters in order to abolish this atrocity continuing to be perpetrated upon our society. God bless, and thank you for the help and support that I've received thus far and brought me to this point of helping our entire society. Thank you to everyone, especially the Means family, Tim Means and his wife and their family. Your help and support has been priceless, and others throughout the community, including the owners of the local grocery outlet, the owners of local restaurants. I'd like to say thank you to many of them, the Piazza family, owners of the McDonald's, and many others in the community in which have been kind and outpouring in their help and their support. And I'm very, very, very thankful and appreciative of it to you all.